Mr. President, why not go further than just unsealing?
Yeah, we worked hard. It's a very important act, the Genius Act. They named it after me, and I want to thank you. This is a hell of an act. But he spoke totally fluent Japanese. I said, that's very impressive.
Do you think Trump is really a genius, or is it just a title he gave himself? Write your comments. And please don't forget to like and comment on this video so that it reaches more people. Thank you very much.
And he was introducing me to Mr. Honda. I said, oh, are you in the car business? He goes, yes. I said, you're a very rich man. And then he said, Mr. Toyota, right? Toyota. And I said, what business are you in? Let me guess. He said, cars. He was my interpreter. And I was so impressed. And I was getting ready to leave. He said, sir, I'd like to run for the United States Senate. I said, where are you from? He said, Tennessee. I said, well, I love Tennessee, but do they know you there? No, but if you endorse me, I'll win. They didn't want to be tariffed there, Howard. Huh? So it's amazing. No, we're not going to let the dollar slide. If we have a smart president, you're never going to let the dollar slide. If you have a dummy.
Was maintaining the value of the dollar really up to Trump? Or does he think everything depends on him? Write your thoughts in the comments.
That could happen. Like the last one, he would, if you ever asked him about the dollar sliding, he would have no idea. But we can't let that ever happen again. He'd come through, right, JD? Also, Speaker Mike Johnson. He's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable. I mean, if you go by what we're doing, if you keep at this pace, you can't keep it up for another 200 days. But I will tell you this, if you keep up this pace for another week, you go down as the greatest speaker in the House in history. So one more week.
Do you think that speaking well for a week makes someone the best speaker in history? Does Trump like to exaggerate? What are your thoughts on this topic? Please share your comments. Let's continue.
One more. Who needs Tip O'Neill? Who needs Tip O'Neill? He's better looking than Tip O'Neill, too. But no, he's been going at a fervent pace. Would you say that's right? Your wife probably says, you are crazy. You've been aging beautifully in front. He's an amazing speaker, a great leader, and everybody likes him and respects him.
Mr. President, why not go further than just unsealing?
Today, Charlie Kirk joined the growing chorus of right-wing podcast bros complaining about Trump's lack of transparency about the Epstein files, just hours after the president called them past supporters and weaklings falling for what he called a Democratic hoax.
Why do you think the Epstein documents have not yet been released? Is Trump truly transparent, or is he concealing his own secrets? What are your thoughts? Please share them below.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, serves on the Judiciary Committee, where Democrats are calling for Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify about Epstein. She joins me now. Well, Congresswoman, what do you make of all this?
I mean, it's interesting to hear the right explain why it is that they want to hear. I want to hear because clearly you got something to hide, Mr. President. So that's why I want to hear. I want the swamp, right, to be drained, okay? Listen, let me use their language. We know that he had this ongoing relationship with Epstein.
Trump said he would drain the swamp, but now he seems to be stuck in it himself. What do you think?
They were basically like besties. We know that there are allegations that a lot of the recruitment took place down at Mar-a-Lago. We know that there are even young ladies that said that they were sexually abused and or sexually assaulted. We know that this is someone who has been found liable of sexual abuse by a jury of his peers. So, I mean, this is also a guy who seemingly doesn't really necessarily care if somebody engages in these types of activities. So I know he's got something to hide. That's the only reason it's not out there. If this had anything to do with Democrats, baby, it would have been on day one. That promise would have been fulfilled. But he wanted access to those files, and he wanted to see how bad it looked for him. And unfortunately, after having a glimpse, I think he's decided that he just wants to move on and talk about something else. I do. Listen, this guy isn't above board. I mean, I think you're kidding yourself if you believe that he is. So no, I absolutely believe that if he thought for just 2 seconds he could hurt anybody but himself, then absolutely we would have the files. And so it does look a little murky. I think it is why the Democrats are all on board, because, you know, this is a guy who has made his own admissions. If you remember the tape where he talked about groping women, right? So, you know, honestly, I think that his loyalists will stay with him regardless. This is a guy who said he could go out and kill somebody and they would still be with him. So I'm sure they would come up with an excuse for why it's okay for him to maybe be involved in the Epstein files. But they want to know about everybody else. They believe that there's so many Democrats that are in this, and that's why it is that they want to see it. But it's interesting, while they are taking away health care, while they are taking away farmers' access to be able to do what they do, which is to make money, while they are getting rid of people's food access, and while inflation is on the rise, and while this tariff war is not reducing anybody's prices for anything, it's amazing that this is the thing that has stirred them up. But I'm going to let them stir. Stir, stir, stir.
Dear viewer, if you found the video useful, you can help it reach more people by liking it. You can subscribe to stay informed about future videos.
Well, dear people, here we are again. Trump's circus has opened a new curtain. Look, on the one hand, he says, "My dear president, the dollar will never fall." And on the other hand, he keeps the Epstein files locked away. I ask you, if you are so transparent, Mr. Trump, what are you hiding? Weren't you going to drain the swamp? Weren't you going to expose everything? No. Who met with whom in the Mar-a-Lago lobby? Who hired young women for work? Tell us. But no, he won't tell us. Because if that files is open, who knows which very wealthy friends will be exposed. Remember, he said it himself, groping women is okay. Are we supposed to expect honesty from this man? Look, Trump's contradiction is not new. It's an old story. Didn't he spend years screaming about Hillary's emails? No. When we ask about his own secret files, he says it's a democratic conspiracy. Do you believe him? I know some of you do. But let's be reasonable. This man would expose any dirty laundry if it didn't harm him. But when it comes to himself, he immediately invokes the national security excuse. Did you think about national security while leaving classified documents out in the open at the Mar-a-Lago pool? Come on, go ahead and write your comments. What do you think? Trump isn't releasing this file. And of course, who's by his side? Pam Bondi, Cash Patel in Congress, all the same tune. Whenever called upon, they dodge the issue. Whenever sworn in, they lie. Look, even the Speaker of the House has been a legend for a week. And 2 weeks later, he's gone into hiding with Trump. Their track record is clear. They lure voters with talk of freedom, justice and transparency. Then behind closed doors, they do business with people like Epstein. Friends, this is the real swamp. If you still think Trump will be a hero one day, wake up. Otherwise, one morning your wallet, your children's future, and your moral compass will all disappear into the same swamp. Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching videos.